All right, so I'm gonna make this video to show you the kind of data that I'm looking at to compare the SPY and SPX and see the opportunity that I see, which I know long-term suggests a true and significant. So first thing we're gonna look at is we got the SPY SPX stock data, whether it's the open, the high, or the low, or the close. And so we got the dates right here. This is 2020, and it goes all the way down for maybe 8 years. And so basically this close would be a representation of this close, and you can compare these two numbers at the close together and see what an expiration day would have done as far as a price difference between the two closes. And so basically this is all about days till dividend. And so we know 0 days is the day of dividend. So the SPX is $17 larger than the SPY times 10. So if we look at the formula, it is the close of the SPX right here minus the close of the SPY times 10. And so anytime we're doing the options contracts, there'll always be 10 SPY for every 1 SPX. But basically we see SPX is $17 larger. And then on the day before the dividend, the SPX was 8 cents larger. The day before that, the SPY was larger. The day before that, the SPY was larger, and so forth. And if we look at, like typically there's about 60 days in a dividend period, and we can kind of see a process where here's the dividend date again. And so the last one was 17, this one's 12.97, and you can kind of see how it goes a little bit closer to the SPY breaking even all the way until the next dividend. And then if we look at the period before that, let's go ahead and find the next dividend, which is right here. So the right before dividend date, we see that the SPY is larger, then the SPX becomes larger, and then it slowly comes back down until the SPY is larger again and until the next dividend date. Then it goes back to the SPX is larger. So we create a little illustration right here that says, okay, days to dividend is 0 all the way to a potential of, let's say, 67. And what is the most likely outcome based on averages? And so basically, if it was $5 difference, but it was only $1,000 stock price, then that would be equal to $3,000 stock price, but a $15 difference. And what we'll see is that it doesn't really match up as far as accuracy of what we think the price difference is going to be on that day. But instead, it kind of gives us more of a percentage of what's the likelihood that the SPY will be larger than the SPX. And so think of the larger number as a more likely the SPY will be larger than the price difference of what is going to be larger. And so I do need to create another formula right here that actually accurately predicts what the best case, what the most likely scenario is for the price. And so the couple ways of doing that is comparing the number of days to dividend, kind of like this, but maybe limiting the amount of data that I use because the older data that I use kind of skewed these numbers. But then also, every dividend that this happens, there's a different dividend payout. And so we can calculate what dividend's coming. And I'm sure if we calculate what dividend starts the whole process, we can calculate likely then how much the price difference is going to be on that day and also what will likely be on the days to come. And so we do need to find a better way of predicting the next day's price, but I think there's a couple easy ways that we could start with that, and that shouldn't take too long. So now that we kind of understand how this works, and like, let's just say 10 days to dividend, like we know is going to be SPY is greater, most likely. And so if we were looking at the actuals, 10 days to dividend, like it's all about break even. And then right before that, or right at to where anything more than that, and it starts to see that the SPX is obviously going to be a little bit larger, anywhere from 5 to 10 to potentially even $15 larger. So today is February 15th, and we know that the next dividend date is 3/15. And so every week has 3 dividend days. And so if we were to go out 12 days, 12 trading days, then we know that'd be about 4 weeks. And so we know about that's where we are in current history. So if we found something that is expiring close to March and sorry, if we found something expiring today, because 12:15 should be close to where we are right now. So let's go ahead and see where the prices are between the two. So let's bring out this guy. So the SPY is on Friday closed at $392.70, and the SPX 3934. So 3927 and 3934 would be a $7.83 price difference. So that's what the current price difference is doing. And ultimately, we're basically gonna try to find an option that's gonna expire right before the dividend date, where we're gonna assume the SPY and the SPX are gonna close at the same price. So let's go ahead and say get price for the SPX. We already did that. Now let's select an option. So let's go ahead and find, we're gonna do the 12th of March because I believe the dividend day is the 15th of March. So we're gonna do expiration date 12th of March. And what we're gonna do is I wanna find the ones that are out of the money that also out of the money for both the SPY and the SPX, and we only want to do out of the money, but also closest to at the money while they're both out of the money. And the reason we want to do it like that is because that's how we find the largest credit spread. Because the further you go out of the money, you maybe have a better chance of expiring out of the money, but the credit spread gets smaller and smaller opportunity. So I'm going to screenshot this real quick. And then we're going to come back to here. Let's go to the SPY. Let's go to select option. We're going to choose the 12th of March. It has to be the same expiration day. We're going to go to at the money. Now, we know that this gray and white line is where it separates in and at the money. So if we look here, we can see that the 394 on the call side and the 394 right here are both out of the money. So that's the one we're going to use. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look and we're going to say times 10 for the SPY. So this would be 62.50 for the ask price, 61.90 for the bid price. And then the 3940 would be 63.70 for the bid price and 64.40, which is right here, for the ask price. And so what we want to do is we want to sell the larger number, so 63.70, and then over here we're going to buy the 62.50, so we would have a $1.20 credit spread right there. And then on the out of the money, we'd be looking at the 3920. So it'd be 61.50 and 62. This one will be selling the 61.50, and well, no, we'll be selling the 62.60 at the 392 for the SPY, and we'd be buying at the 62, which would give us a 60-cent credit spread. So we got a 60-cent put credit spread, and then we got for this guy, we had a $1.20 credit spread. So now we got a total credit spread of $1.80. So between that example I just showed you, we have a $1.80 credit spread. Now it also expires on the one day. And so because we were buying the SPY on the call, and because we were buying the SPX on the put, then if the SPY price difference is larger than the SPX, so for example, like one of these days right here, then we'd get that $1.80 credit spread plus whatever the price difference is of the SPY being greater than the SPX. And so what I just showed you right there is not the best example because just a couple weeks ago, the price difference right now is like $7 that we just saw, where a couple weeks ago, the price difference was $12 and it was closing at $12 and it was staying at $12 constantly. It's staying at $12 constantly instead of a $1.80 credit spread like we just found, we would have actually found a credit spread of probably $400 to $500. And so it's not like depending on when you look for the best opportunity, you can find better opportunities than the one I just showed you. But what I'm showing you right now still shows I can get a $1.80 credit spread and know that it's going to close with the SPY larger. Or if I did all the days in that area, then most of them are going to close with that one being larger, and I make additional profits for every time that happens. Now, obviously, if I can get in a different time and make more profits or a larger credit spread, which obviously is going to drastically reduce the risk, then that is obviously what I'd want to do. And so ultimately, all I really need is something that can take a live data stream, compare the matching expiration dates from the SPY to the SPX, and then mirror based off the price difference of where it's going to be, then they can compare those strikes. So for example, if I know that the SPY and the SPX are supposed to close right next to each other, then I want to use the same strike. So a 393 strike for SPY would be a 3930 strike for SPX. And then if I know that the SPX is going to close $10 above the SPY, or I think it is, then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to sell 393 SPY, and then I'm going to buy the cheaper 3940 SPX. And it's going to allow me even a larger credit spread, but you would only do that when the stock prices are actually at the same price. So when it's close to dividend day, that's when you're looking at all these days where you know the price difference is going to be where the SPX is greater, and you find the perfect combo between the comparative strikes that just give you the best credit spread. So that's the idea. And then the idea is that if you do the call and the put, then only one of them can lose at the same expiration time. And so you always want to bet both at the same time to get the largest possible credit spread. You don't care if it's going up or down. And you're always, because we're doing the one closest to at the money on both sides, we're always expecting it to end in the money on one of the sides. But because we're calculating where the price difference is going to end and making sure credit spread is large, we're basically eliminating all the possible risk, especially when we spread it out between multiple days that are all multiple different expiration days, and the majority of them go right where we think they're going to go. So that's basically what I want to get started right away. If you have any insight on how I can get this started as soon as possible, I'd love to hear it. Thank you.